today because I'm launching Blackletter Bootcamp. It actually just launched. We had the super top secret launch, the super early bird launch on Thursday, very late Thursday evening and yesterday, and it just kicked off this morning. Oh my goodness, look at all these fantastic people. My goodness. Hey, Adrian. Hi, Mohammed. How are you doing? Oh, I'm doing fantastic. How are you? It's so awesome to see everybody. It's an earlier time than usual for the stream today. So I'm really excited to get into a lot of fun. So I'd be curious if you're in the chat, say hello. If we've got some new people, it's always wonderful to hear from everybody. If you see me looking down, I'm just checking out the chat to see who's saying hello and see how everybody's doing. So how's everybody's weekend so far? Are you ready for some calligraphy fun using our fancy fun made up words? Oh, this is going to be exciting. So the big announcement obviously for today is that Blackletter Bootcamp is kicking off. It'll be starting in 2 weeks, I believe 2 weeks from today. So I opened the enrollment yesterday for the top secret super early bird. I laugh every time because I love coming up with these ridiculous phrases, but it was the top secret super early bird launch, and the class is already almost half full. So if you'd like to join in to Blackletter Bootcamp, you'll get a little bit of taste of stuff that we're going to play around with and learn in the boot camp today. But if you'd like to join in, you can just head over to Blackletter Bootcamp. I think the links are down there. It's actually up on this side. So you can head over there and you can sign up and learn all about what we're going to go over. It's going to be tons of fun. 10 plus hours of live tutorials with me. It's going to be a lot of fun. I have a lot of fun in these workshops. I've delivered similar classes dozens of times, and so I thought it would be fun to just invite everybody in the community into this one finally. So, oh man, look at all these fantastic calligraphy friends. Hello, Ruhi? Is that the right? I'm sure I brutalized that, but wonderful to see you here. Kathy, so fantastic to see you. And Adrian, hello from San Diego. Wow, yeah, where's everybody joining from this week? And Mary Craig, so fantastic. Stacy, great to see you back again too. This is so exciting. And love the time slot. All right, awesome. Yeah, I'm also always curious to get feedback on what time slots you all prefer. So keep me posted. And I see Adrian's already got a question. These little vials, I think, is what you're talking about. My handy little clown car vials. It's a running joke in our running community joke about these cool little vials that I use for dipping. I just got them from Amazon, honestly, and they came in a pack of 100. There are links. If you go to blacklettertools.com, there's links to the pack that I bought. I don't remember it being too expensive, but it came in a pack of 100 of them, and that's why I have so many. And Stacy is saying, love this time slot. I'm already signed up for boot camp. Oh, that's so exciting. Keep on the lookout. There's going to be all sorts of fun updates coming in the next couple of weeks beforehand. So stay tuned. I can't wait. To have all this fun with everybody. And howdy Mary from Bend, Oregon. That is exciting. Oregon is one of my favorite places. I love Portland and the Oregon area. And Sisters, Oregon is a place I've visited a few times. Beautiful spot. So if you see me moving off to the side here, I'm starting to get things ready, because if you're in my newsletter community, I also promised a free quick little flourishing tip or flourishing lesson today. So we're going to start getting into that. I'm just checking my pens to make sure I've got one. I, of course, grabbed one of my modified pens to begin with. So we're going to get started. Dances with Aardvarks, Mike in the UK, greetings. So you're in the UK. That must be an easier time slot for you, I would imagine. So sorry for all the bursting with energy. I'm just so excited. I'm very excited about the boot camp launch, and I'm also super excited to be with everybody here this morning. It is kind of nice to get started when you've got all your energy at the beginning of the day. So let's turn on my other light, and then we'll try to make this snazzy transition to the overhead. And hopefully you guys will see in a second here. Let me just get my paper ready. Okay, tore that right out. All right, so let's try to switch over, and let's make sure everybody can see the overhead. All right. Oh, Kathy's giving me some location tips. This is awesome. Check out Rocky Brook Falls near Bryn on the Olympic Peninsula. Wow, that I would love to. The Pacific Northwest is absolutely one of my all-time favorite regions. I love it so much. So I definitely will have to make an attempt to go check that out. So I'm looking for my pencil now, which amidst all the supplies has just found a way to slide away. So here's my handy pencil. All right, howdy Carla, great to see you too. Fantastic. I guess I should have checked to make sure you can all hear me. I'm just gonna assume that you can hear me so far. And Carol is saying there are tons of waterfalls in the Pacific Northwest. Yes, indeed. For those who don't know, I actually was very much into photography. That's why I got into or have all these fun cameras that I use. And I fell in love with the Pacific Northwest. I'm originally from Canada, from Calgary, which is a beautiful area. But yeah, so much beautiful. Maybe we'll get to chatting about that when I do some of the artwork today. All right, so we're talking a little bit about flourishing, right? Which are these fancy marks. That was a light one. So like fancy marks that all of us fun calligraphers like to add onto our letters. And I just did this one with pencil, just to give you an idea of like the basic shape that I'm going to show you, right? It's kind of, if you were to connect it all the way around, it's kind of like an infinity, right? So I'm going to show you one of my favorite tricks for doing flourishes. And then there'll be so much more in store in Blackletter Bootcamp, but because I'll talk about anything, all sorts of stuff, but for sure we'll go over the alphabets, both the lowercase and the uppercase, and all sorts of other fun. So I'm going to show you a cool trick with this pen. Okay, and this is going to be, I'm making sure you're staying in focus. So this is going to be one of the keys to this technique. So super incredibly complicated. And for anyone who hasn't been here before, I tend to be very sarcastic and just very humor oriented in a lot of my lessons and stuff. But this incredibly complicated technique is going to start with us with our pen on one corner. Okay, and we're going to rotate it down. I know this is incredibly surgical maneuvering here. And then we're going to pull it up on the other corner. All right, did everybody see that? I know it was incredibly complex stuff. I joke, obviously. Literally, corner of the pen, flatten down, pick up on the other side. Everybody can do this, right? Totally easy. Corner, flatten, pick up. Okay, these are not flourishes, by the way, for anyone who's curious. Awesome. So how on earth am I going to use that in a flourish? Okay, so remember this shape that I just drew, this kind of curly shape. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to apply this movement while I'm moving the pen. I know it's like walking. It's like walking and chewing gum, right? But this is much easier. I can't help but laugh. All right, so what we're gonna do. So if I'm starting with one corner, right? I'm gonna start curving. Remember my little 8, and then I'm gonna push. I'm gonna start pushing down as I start to flatten my pen. Okay, and you can see how the line's already getting thicker and breaking up. And then as I flatten the pen out, I'm drawing. And I'm going super slow for everybody here. I'm drawing a flat line, and now I'm going to pick up the other side. I'm just going to keep going in that loop. And check that out. See, doesn't that look fancy? But could you tell it's not too bad, right? Anybody could do this. All right, and you can go fast even. I could start and then just flatten it down fairly quickly, and then I'll get a very abrupt change like that. Oh, hi, Jackie, or Jacqueline, or Jackie. Greetings from London. Oh, how exciting! Thank you so much for that kind word. I love doing the teaching sessions. So that's why I'm so excited about the Blackletter Bootcamp, and I'm excited to share some fun tips with you today. So how did everybody see that? It's this with some movement, right? So it's a curve, and then pushing down a little bit, right? And then letting go at the end. So just take this kind of a curvy movement, and then just add a little twist. Add a little twist of the pen in the middle there. How fun is that? I bet you maybe you've been watching over on the previous live streams and stuff and thought, well, it's magic. It's completely impractical for anybody to do this, but you can totally do it. Isn't that cool? And you can I'll even give you one more tip, because I love helping everybody with this stuff. So depending on like the paper you're using, this is Strathmore calligraphy paper that I'm using right now. So depending on how textured the surface is, you can actually even get some fun, like textured looks to it. So with this surface, if I move quickly, did you see how I got kind of a broken line there, right here? I'm going to grab one of my favorite highlighting tools, a fountain pen. I'm planning on starting a community pretty soon, and I think we're going to probably talk about fountain pens and those as well, because I know a lot of people have had some questions. But see that little breakup of the line there? It wasn't any kind of ridiculously fancy manipulation of the tool. It's just moving a little quickly, a little faster. And you can get these really cool textures and stuff. What do you guys think? Was that fun? So that's one tip that you can use for your flourishing and get all sorts of crazy effects and cool looks and things like that. And I plan to get into a bunch more of this stuff in the boot camp. I'll talk about how I vary letters, and we're going to be doing a little bit of that today. I thought that'd be kind of a fun project to work on today while we're chatting. So I hope this was helpful. If you're interested in seeing getting like whole bunches of hours, 10 hours, not in one day, I promise. It won't be a marathon. 10 hours over 4 weekends. Just hit blackletterbootcamp.com and you'll be a member of the class. I think there's only around 10 or 11 slots left of the 20. I limited the attendance just to make sure everybody gets as much individual attention as possible in the class. But yeah, I'll be going over so much, and then the awesome part is you'll get to ask questions live too. And Carol's asking, is there a brush for Photoshop or Procreate to do this? Yeah, there are actually lots of amazing brushes for Procreate. I'm going to start loading up my pen as I talk and transition. It's because I'm going to work, I'll probably be talking a little bit more about the variation. So my thought with this one is I'm going to do like a like a bluish and greenish, yellowish look blend on the outside, and then maybe a purplish on the inside, so we can squeeze as much learning time in today as possible. So I'm just going to load up my pen. Here, I almost grabbed the wrong color. That's blue. Alrighty. And I'm going to go over the tools too in the bootcamp, so we'll talk a lot about how to use the tools and ways that I've customized them and stuff like that. Here's my little rag. There we go. Or my little paper towel. So yeah, as I'm talking, there are lots of brushes. I actually created a whole several sets of Blackletter brushes for Procreate, because Procreate by default does not have any brushes unless they've updated it, but not to my knowledge. It does not have any brushes that are good for Blackletter. And so if you just head over to blacklettershop.com, I have a whole area with Procreate brushes that you can download or purchase there and use. And each one of them has like 60 different brushes and some variations for adding cool effects and flourishes and stuff like that. So I'm using Eco Lining today because I thought it would be fun to go with a little bit, maybe like a little bit more subtle of a color blend. So here's my little like science experiment, my ink dropper. I'm realizing now I probably should have come prepared to wash this out, but I think I have another ink dropper. We're just going to keep this fun colored napkin on the side here, and I'll clean it out later. All right, so if you saw my newsletter, you saw that I was planning to do an entire piece today with one letter. That's the big fun challenge today, is we're going to use one single letter and create something fun. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to vary how that letter looks as I work my way around. So I thought that would be fun. I did a whole series of these a couple of years ago, and I had so much fun doing every letter of the alphabet that it became such a fun project, and at the end had a really cool little body of work of just alphabet letters. So I'm going to be dipping, and there'll be a little bit more space than is usual for stuff that I've done. But yeah, I'm going to get started. So every version of the letter P, that I do around the circle is going to be different in some way. It may be majorly different. It may be a little bit different, but they're all going to be variations. Just so that you know, it's not like just 3 ways to do these letters. You can actually design and change them in a variety of ways. All right, so let's get started, and I'll talk while I quote unquote walk. Okay, so let's make sure I've got some ink, and let's just start with a simple-ish P. Okay, let's go in with a little ink, and I'm gonna come down. I'm gonna give this one a long stem and make it spiky. Okay, so this one will be close to kind of a more standard P that I use. All right. And there's one, and I always love, I'm going to zoom in a little. I always really love how these little ink blends happen. I'm going to turn the brightness up so you guys can see. Yeah, the color blends are amazing. I love the Ecoline inks. I see Dances with Aardvarks, still one of my favorite names. I was asking, where would we see this newsletter? You just sign up for you can sign up for it. It's where you get all of the free stuff that I give away. It's on blackletterfreebies.com, and that'll take you right to the website. Then you can sign up, and you'll get access to all the fun newsletter goodness and the treasure trove of freebies. All right, so there's one P, and I'm just going to work my way around, and then if I want to fill in the spaces, we'll see. But I thought it would be fun to actually have them kind of equidistant, so we're going to start with that. So this time I'm going to curve it a little bit. Okay, and maybe this one comes down just straight and it stays thick. And let's get a little fancier up here. And you know, I'm going to break this one up. Maybe it comes down a little bit lower. So there's another P. And now, since I started curving things, I kind of want to make things even fancier pants. That's the technical term. So let's give it even a bigger curve. And I'm going to give it the spike. So you can even mix and match elements, right? Give it the spike again. Let's go really fancy. Maybe even give this a little curve like that. You think of that? They're getting pretty fancy, huh? Thanks, Adrian, saying fancier pants. Yes. Just darkening it a little bit. Yeah, these are all highly, highly technical calligraphic and scientific terms. In one of my recent workshops, we came up with the term calligraneer for calligraphy engineers. That's what we are sometimes here. All right. So this one, you know what? Maybe we'll go more angular on this one. So let's go just very abrupt angles. I'm not going to do the taper, and maybe I even come up horizontally and make it blocky. And I honestly, I just randomly picked the letter P, and I haven't practiced any of this. We're just making it up and having fun as we go. But I love talking about and going over these kinds of variations in the letters because they can be a lot of fun to make. And just give you an opportunity to experiment and play around making lines. Just realized the focus was probably maybe giving you guys a headache. Okay, let's try. I'm gonna stick with blocky this time, and we're gonna do something crazy in the middle. So let's do this. I'm just gonna turn the pen. Let's break it up right there. So here's another P. Now I can kind of decide what I want over on this side. Maybe, I mean, heck, I don't think I've ever done one like this. Let's make it consistent on both of these. On both of these sides. And give it a little point. What do you think? That's kind of a weird wonky P. Oh, Adrian saying, ooh, I like that one. Cool, I'm excited. Yeah, this is, I once spent in one workshop, I think like 2 hours or 3 hours just going over variations of every letter. Like we went through the alphabet, and I'm hoping to be able to do the same depending on how the time goes with everybody. But I really do want to go over variations of all the letters too, because that can be a lot of fun. Okay, I've already committed myself to something here. Let's see. I'm kind of liking having them all roughly the same length, but maybe I'll vary that in a second. So let's give this one maybe a little curve. What do you think of that? Okay, and since I curved that, maybe I'll curve this one and just keep it connected. Like so. I mean, and hey, maybe I'll even vary the bottom right here. What do you think of that? I mean, a couple of them resemble each other a little bit maybe, but all of them are different. What do you all think so far? Everybody having fun? Dan says with Aardvark said fancy schmancy. Oh, that's hilarious. Okay. All right, let's see. Maybe we'll start this one a little bit differently now. Let's come from here. Maybe we come down vertically. Yeah, maybe this one's just got a little float. Yeah, and hey, maybe it doesn't have to be. Let's give it just a curve here. And there we go. That one's got a different character to it, right? I'm continuing to work my way around. The other, just by the way, the other bonus feature of using the Ecoline inks is they dry a lot faster than the acrylic inks. Okay, hey Minna, how are you doing? Great to see you. You're saying, what PW do you really use? You may have to elaborate. I'm not sure what PW stands for. Mary saying love it. Adrian saying love it. Carla, thank you so much. Oh, you guys you're all fantastic. This is wonderful. Last one is your fave so far. Really, this one, huh? The one with the curve. Cool. Well, let's see what else we can do. Maybe with some curves. Let's try curving it even more from this direction. I mean, we're just having fun, right? Maybe we'll curve it even more this way. Okay, I give it quite the handle there. So let's continue it up here. And maybe this time I'll give it more of a fluid curve at the bottom. I feel like this one would be involved with some kind of a Peter Pan movie, possibly. I don't know why that just occurred to me, but it feels very whimsical. Okay, there's one. I mean, now I because I'm getting all curvy, now I kind of feel like just going very blocky. So let's try that, just for contrast. So block, like that. I mean, heck, let's block there. We'll give it, this one will be very abstract, so it's not even like all of the sections connect. What do you think? That's kind of different. What do you guys think so far? Here's the circle of peas. Oh my goodness. So great to see all these wonderful comments. Thanks. You fill your cartridges with Ecoline. Adrian saying she fills her cartridges with Ecoline. That's a great tip as well, because just so that everybody knows, Ecoline inks, I'm just going to start making stuff up over here. Maybe we do this. Yeah. You can fill the pens with Ecoline ink, and they will flow just fine through the feed. Keep that. So much fanciness on this one. So yeah, what I do is I keep the cartridges. Maybe we'll give this one more curviness. I keep the cartridges after I finish them, and then I clean them out. I'll just rinse them out with water. And then you can reuse those cartridges and fill them with whatever ink. So you could use an eyedropper. The Ecoline ink bottles that have the circular bodies have eyedroppers in them, so you don't even need to supply your own. Let's go this way this time. Maybe we come way out here. This one's got it's got a little character on that far side. Ooh, I just had another idea. Okay. I think this is where some of my markers went awry, so I'm going to be freewheeling this a little bit. Let's go here. Oh, Mary's saying you like this color combo. Yeah, definitely. It's worth giving these Ecoline inks a try. They're actually quite wonderful. I'm trying to find the bottle. I'm going to try to pull it out. So this is the one that I'm using right now. It's number 201, which is just a very bright yellow. And I mean, if you remember here from the first dot, the ink color that's technically in my pen is blue. So I've always noticed that when I use blue with any yellow ink, it turns out to be very, very green. You kind of lose some of that blue character. Ooh, I just had another idea. Let's go this way. And I'm gonna pull a little piece off the end there. What do you think of that? So there's a P. Let's give him a little more character like that too. That one's cool. Is anybody getting any ideas? Are you starting to see all the different ways you can vary? Oh, Mino's asking pen width and letter height. Oh, so I'm using the pen width that I'm using, or the pen size, is the 3.8 millimeter. This is a Pilot Parallel pen. Say that 20 times fast. Pilot Parallel pen. So I'm using the 3.8 millimeter pen, and I'm using an X height of around. Let's go more angular this time. I'm using an X height of around 5 pen widths. And you know what? We could have some fun at the bottom here too. Let's give this guy a little. It looks like a J now, but we'll get there. Maybe we'll come horizontally here. And for those that keep track, I am employing the pinky technique now. Okay, maybe it comes off the edge there. And now I think I'm gonna sneak one more in here, and then we'll call this one done. Maybe I think some of my angle measurements were a little bit off. Stacy said, I like this comment. There's so much variation in Blackletter. How do you know when you've strayed too far and it's now a different type of lettering like italic? I would say I'm not a complete expert of all of the historical scripts, but I would say italic tends to has a slant to it, right? So I would say you're kind of veering into italic. Let me pull up a little scratch page here. So what I'm doing is mostly very angular like vertical strokes, whereas with italic you probably would start to get into more of that as you're doing more of a slanted character. Does that make sense? Because it tends to have that angle to it, even though these are all obviously angled because I'm doing them in a circle, but we're having fun, right? All right. So I'm going to keep going here. Dance with Arvek saying, is the nib section in this pen removable so I could put it in a wooden holder? It's not like a pointed pen or anything like that. You can remove the nib section, but it would have to go into another like cylindrical shaped writing tool that would have to be sized exactly like this. So I would say it's not not compatible with like a standard nib holder or something like that. Okay, so I've kind of committed to this. Let's give it a spike on this one. Maybe spiky. I'm gonna go spiky on this one. So let's come up a lot. Spike there, spike there. I'm gonna leave room for a good spike at the back end here. What do you think? That's a very spiky P. Oh, look at that. Just dapped in there by accident, got a little bit of coloration in the P. Right on. So if I zoom out and focus, you'll see that we've got the makings of like a whole little work with just the letter P. I realize that there's a little bit of uneven spacing, but that's okay. This is a fun project. All right, let's see. Kathy's asking, why do you always draw in circles? I actually don't always draw in circles. I do other styles. Like if you look behind me, there's some of the abstracts on the wall and stuff like that. I just think they're fun projects a lot of the times for these live streams because they can kind of fit into, they fit in well on the screen and they fit in relatively well with the time frame too, because I can get kind of a whole design out in a period of time, whereas lettering like a large block of text, it would only be able to get through a small bit in a live stream session. So what do you think? That's the outline. Let's see. Oh, there's a question from Amy. Let me see if I missed something. All right, I'm missing. I seem to be missing the question. Let's see. All right, awesome. I can't see it. So if you had the question again, what is? Oh, Mary was asking the pinky technique. So if there was a question there, let me know. Drop it in the comments again, and I'll do my best to answer, depending on what the question was. But the pinky technique is literally when I'm kind of balancing my hand on my pinky, just to allow for a little bit of, just to allow for me to kind of work over the work I've already done while it's still drying. But luckily these watercolor inks dry a little bit faster. So for the second, I thought it would be fun to do another P, and I'm going to use purple for the middle. Okay, Adrian saying, I don't think there's an Amy. Is there? I didn't think so. I thought there was a seconding a question from Amy, but maybe I've missed it. All right. Thank you, Adrian. I appreciate it. So glad that you're enjoying this. So yeah, just so you know, you can have all sorts of fun, even just with one letter. So yeah, if you're regarding the circles, we will not be writing in circles in the boot camp. That's going to be all straight normal letters in a straight line. And honestly, a lot of my practice stuff and things that I do personally, I'll probably even end up showing some of my practice stuff in the boot camp. But a lot of that's mostly in straight lines. I almost never write in circles in there, and then other stuff that I work on. So yeah, this is just a fun kind of a project that has a nice design that can be very flexible. All right, so I'm going to work on the middle now. Let's make sure I got a little bit of purple here in the pen. And then what I did in that previous project was put like a big P in the middle. So, or a big letter in the middle. So I'm going to dip the pen and we're just going to freehand one. And get all sorts of cool ink colors. I feel like giving this one a long stem, making it very spiky. All right. And the purple kind of became maroon. This is very cool. Let's make this one very flourishy. Start all the way back. Does anybody notice what I just did there? Huh? That was like part of the tutorial that we started with at the beginning. And there's kind of a fancy-ish, big fancy-ish P for the center. And I'm always a big fan. I love these. I always love dipping inks because of the fun color gradients that you get. So much fun. So you can see those color gradients there. Awesome. What do you guys think? All right, so now we can start working on an outline. So I need to start thinking about an outline color. This ended up being very green on the outside, so maybe we'll go with green. All right, so I grabbed an ink Pigma Micron. I mean, maybe we'll get crazy a little bit later. But yeah, let's start outlining. This may be one of the first times that we've made it all the way to outlining more completely on stream. And I'm gonna give it an outline, yeah, just like that. And then just kind of work my way around. You guys think the green is a good color for the outline, or do you want to see something else? Let me know. It's not too late to change this potentially. And then see, like inside of these, I could fill them in with color. We could do kind of an interesting pattern inside because there's a lot more space in this than the usual designs. Like just as an example, the one from, it was right next to me. This was the one from the last stream with Aaron. If anybody remembers, so this was a metallic ink, and I did the really tall letters on this one. So if everybody remembers, this is a metallic ink. That's on this one. It's really cool one. It looks very different depending on the angle that you look at it, but this is an example of a more compact circle with a lot more lettering and writing. All right, so I'm gonna keep working around and let's see how this is gonna look. So yeah, just do some little bit of lettering there, or outlining, I should say. Let's see. Oh, Kathy's asking, where do you get your name from? I've never heard that name before. Well, the silly answer is I got it from my parents, right? That's the silly, facetious answer, but it's an Egyptian name actually. My parents are both from Egypt initially. And it's an Egyptian name. It's actually somewhat common in Egypt, which is funny because it was very unique. I grew up in Canada, and it was very unique there. But I have met other Tamers in my life. Okay, go up here. What do you guys think of the green? Oh, Adrian Singh could use gold. Oh, gold for the outline. Now there's an interesting idea. Oh yeah, I think I like that idea. Adrian just suggested a genius idea. So now the question is which gold? And for some of the live stream veterans, you may know what I'm reaching for now, which is one of the goldiest of the golds, which is the Sparkle Pop gold. And it looks like my pen's actually almost out, but let's go over with that. That'll be very, very shiny. Great idea, Adrian. I love it. And we're getting kind of a cool double look here on these edges. This pen is actually also bigger, which is going to make it a little bit easier to fill in the areas. But yeah, that is a cool combination. I'll even pull up a close-up so you can kind of see the color. But these pens, They have a very, very like luminous metallic color. Fantastic. So any other questions, or what does everybody think of this single letter version of a circular calligraphy piece? Yeah, I really do like the gold. This is cool. And Carol's saying, how cool is that? Oh, thank you. Hopefully if you're thinking maybe the letters look cool. Thank you, Carol. Kathy, Tamara, teaching art makes everyone rejoice. Aw. Thank you so much, Kathy. That may be one of the funnest acronyms I've ever heard. That's very sweet. Thank you. I really do love teaching, like especially these skills, because I'm going to go on a brief aside now, but I really feel like everybody thinks there's some kind of like magic, or that you're just born able to write fancy or do some kind of amazing art or anything like that. And I'm a huge believer that anybody can learn to do this stuff. Sure, I've definitely practiced a lot, for sure, but I started off, the stuff that I did was not amazing. And I really do believe that anybody and everybody can learn to do this stuff. And what I love about these calligraphy skills especially is you really don't need a whole lot of fancy, expensive equipment and like substantial investment to start practicing and start learning. Like with photography, there's certainly, amazing cameras can do an amazing job these days. Phones can do an amazing job. They keep creating really, really beautiful or really amazing camera features, but to do like really professional type stuff, you do kind of need at least a capable, like reasonable level camera, which gets into the several $100 potentially. But with the, or unless you want to do a lot of photoshopping, I should say. But with calligraphy, you could really, like for around $25. The tools that I'm using today, parallel pen, you can get one of the pens for around $8 or $7 in the US. And the paper can be any paper. The Strathmore calligraphy paper, I think, is around like $8 on Amazon. But check your local art store, because they may have a better price. In Houston, one that we have here locally has some good prices. So I do feel like anybody can do this. And then the pen even comes with some ink, so you've got everything you need to get started then. For potentially under $20 in the US. So yeah, I do love the teaching. So thank you. That was a very long aside to Kathy's very kind comment. Thank you very much. Let's see. There was a comment in here. What is the gold pen? This is a Sparkle Pop. I think it's by Pentel. Sparkle Pop Gold. And maybe as I'll zoom in a bit. Okay, you'll see. Let me turn the lights off just so you can see a little bit of how sparkly this ink is. Can you see how sparkly the pen is? It looks very solid from here, but if I tilt the page, I don't know why I always duck when I do this. But if I tilt the page, you can see a little bit of the sparkly goodness here as I tilt it. It's really, really fun. A really fun pen to use. And they have so many colors. I mean, if you know me on these streams, you know I don't mind getting crazy. So why don't we, I'm even gonna grab another color. Okay, you guys can, since I haven't offered any color choices, I've gone almost halfway around. So I'm gonna do the other half in another color, and we do have a little time. So everybody on stream, you get to pick. So blue, here's a blue Sparkle Pop pen. Here's a black one. There's pink. I also have an orange, green, and purple. Here are all, I mean, it's an almost overwhelming number of choices. But there you go. So, as I move my noisy box, let me know in the comments which one. I'm going to finish the second half. I'll give you a second to select, but here are all of your color choices. And again, it's just the Pentel Sparkle Pop pens. That's Mary Ellen's saying, looks like you're dipping a Pilot Parallel pen. I missed the beginning. Is that a pen that has a cartridge? And can you use it to dip as well? So yeah, I was dipping a Pilot Parallel pen in Ecoline watercolor ink, the yellow Ecoline watercolor ink. And the pen did have a cartridge in it. It was just a turquoise it was a turquoise cartridge, just the standard standard Pilot one. Sorry, my brain was exploding there as I was trying to draw these fine lines while talking. As a random aside, similar to the circle question, I do also do calligraphy when I'm not talking too. Sometimes it does make it a lot easier, I'll have to say. But I do love doing these live streams, so this is a ton of fun. I'm about to check the chat again to see if we've landed on any other colors for the second half, because I'm getting pretty close to being halfway over. But yeah, I may actually be doing more. I may do some more live streams. I kind of do want to do non-circle live streams in the future. We may not get as far, but we'll see. But I do have some other project ideas and other fun. I do want to do some more Procreate streams too, because I think people like that a lot too. All of the fun stuff that you can do with that fun app. Because I am working on a brand new set of brushes too. I kind of gave a sneak peek a couple of weeks ago. So yeah, Procreate can be fun too. So I promise, I do plan to do more live streams that are not in circles in the future. Okay, I think that's pretty close to halfway. So did we land on another color? Oh, thank you so much for the comment. I apologize if I'm brutalizing your name, Haru or Ruhi. Thank you so much. That's very kind of you. And I see Johan is hiding under his wife Kathy's email. Well, wonderful to have you, Johan. All right. Wow, Vinicius. I apologize if I'm mispronouncing your name as well. I'm trying to read it. Vinicius Oliveira. I apologize again. That sounds like a cool name, maybe from like Harry Potter or something like that. I went back and checked, but I might have missed it. That's the spin you did on the last stroke on the center P. How should I approach it being a lefty? The center P. Oh, this one? Like maybe this... Oh, the spin at the end? So as a lefty, I would probably approach things coming from this direction. I've seen some people will write letters up and down, or sorry, like upside down. I would approach it coming from this direction to get, and then maybe curve it with your hand like this way. Like here, and then curve it like this. That would be my guess for a lefty. I am not an expert lefty. I actually plan to get, I'm going to try to enlist my wife, who is a lefty, to get some more lefty teaching tips. But I would recommend the things that I've seen are like kind of the standard approaches that I've seen are kind of approaching it with a hook. Sometimes I've seen it where people actually, you'll learn to write the letter upside down, still kind of using this obviously left-handed hold. And then you probably start from the bottom here and then lay the pen flat to do the stroke. Okay, I hope that helps. And you do kind of just have to maybe angle the pen or the page at a different angle just to make sure you get the line at the right angle. But that's how I would approach it. as a lefty, and I apologize that I'm not a lefty myself. I really do want to be able to share more info, and I'll be sharing some more like research in the bootcamp too, of tips. But I'm right-handed myself, but I am working on gathering some more lefty knowledge. It's another research project, sneakily behind the scenes, that I'm working on, because I would love to make it just as easy for everybody. All right, so I'm seeing colors now. So the first three are all different: purple, blue, orange. Orange or purple? Orange. Okay, so far it sounds like there's more for orange. Pink, please. Orange. Digital. It's Carol saying yes. Digital black letter. Procreate live streams from Adrian. You got it. We'll definitely make that happen. Okay, so looks like orange was the biggest winner. So this is actually going to be a very subtle difference, I would say, but we'll see. Oh, one other cool tip. Again, I just love sharing all this stuff. One other cool tip is these pens often, like the color that they write on black paper will be subtly different, or dramatically different in some cases, than it is on white paper, which is really cool too. So here is the orange. I mean, if you twist my arm, I mean, I could even do a third color. Who knows? That could be fun too. If you can't tell, I'm a big fan of having some fun. Smile while you work. So much opportunity for creativity. So what does everybody think of the orange? It looks like I just outlined some kind of geographic landmark or something. See, oh, it looks like there's a good question. I'm going to back up and see it. I'm going to try. Do a little bit more and then look and see what the question was. So much suspense. Let's see. Dance with Aardvarks asks, do you warm up at all before you go live? The honest truth is, because I'm all about being completely transparent, is I do not. I'm like, the scheme that usually happens is I will, especially if I'm doing the circles with the quotes, I will kind of look for a quote beforehand, or a couple of quotes if we're doing some options on the stream. And I'll figure out, using my calligraphy calculator tool, how big the quote needs to be, or how big the circle needs to be. And then I literally just fire it up, because I have to, beforehand I'm actually like turning on my lights so that the background's in the colors, and I've got a light over here and another one over on the right. So I'm usually getting all those set up. I'm sometimes spinning up the inks to get them a little bit more fluid beforehand, and there's actually a lot of prep that I do before the stream, so it does not leave me with a whole lot of time, usually to do any kind of practice or warm up beforehand. I usually just have to start cold. So I what you see most of the time live on stream is like, it's not my most amazing, or it's not my best work. At least I think we're all always hard on our own work. I certainly am. Like, that's another misconception that I always try to dispel, is like I'm critical of my own stuff. I don't always like it. So, but I do try to roll with it and keep a happy, positive, upbeat attitude. Like, even if I don't do something that I'm not fond of, or I make a mistake or something like that, I'll just roll with it and keep trying to play with it until I have something that I like more, or gives me an opportunity to maybe try something new. But the short answer to your question is I honestly don't practice at all or warm up at all before these live streams. So you're seeing at the coldest, basically. Oh goodness, it's already 12:55. Holy smokes. Okay, everybody's liking the orange, almost like the middle P. Oh, that's a good call. Yeah, it is. It does kind of match up with the middle P quite a bit, right? And I mean, what's always fun, which is why I always tilt the page with the lights off is I'm always, as I'm working on it, I'm kind of seeing the metallic-y goodness of the ink. Let me zoom out a little bit so you can even start to see more of the whole look. I'm seeing the metallic-y look of the ink more because I'm looking at it at an angle. So that I always have fun showing the metallic or like some of the reflections and how things look. Because they can sometimes look completely different just depending on the angle. All right, so this is how it's coming so far, and now there's so much. There's so many ways. Like there's so much space in here. Like we could start to add fancy patterns in the middle, or we could just use a color. Like our standard approach that I'll use a lot of the time is just I kind of fill it in with some kind of a fun color gradient. But there's so many ways to be creative with this stuff and have some fun. And like I was alluding to before, I really do think when you're having fun, you actually create better work because you're not tense and you know, your muscles aren't all like jittery worrying about making a mistake. You can just start to kind of relax and have a good time. And that's another thing that I love about doing these outlines too, is you can kind of just get into a zone and then just get into the flow of doing these outlines. I mean, I'm so close to making it all the way around. Let's see if I can do this within 3 minutes. And when you're working, obviously, you get to take your time more. I'm usually trying to move a little more quickly, which makes my work a little sloppier when I'm doing these live streams. But when you're working and having fun, you can take as much time as you like. All right, how is everybody doing in the chat? Let's see, Johan, now I know Johan now. Said I must have inherited his love of lettering as I took 2 years of calligraphy at the University of Iowa. Wow. And now I'm thinking about Tamara's boot camp. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, that's like another reason I want to do these classes and stuff like that. I feel like it would be a huge shame for us to lose kind of the knowledge about calligraphy and lettering, because it's very approachable, I believe. And you don't need very fancy tools, and it's just using the alphabet. You don't have to learn, you know, it's not like figure drawing or something like that where it helps at least to learn a lot of anatomy and things. We've all been mostly lettering our whole lives, right? Or at least writing letters our entire lives. So that's awesome, Johan. Johan, I would love to have you in the boot camp for sure. It would be amazing. And again, I've already forgotten, but that was one of the main points of the stream. Was a fun kickoff celebration for Blackletter boot camp. Let's see, Mary's saying I like the contrast. So we're already coming up to the end of the hour. But here, what do you think? Look, we made this. We made this together here just in the past hour. A fun little lettering project. And you know what? Like here, I'll even share some info. I'm making it a little bit darker so you can kind of see how it looks. Not as bright. But yeah, like I feel like the letters are a little bit... I must have done something a little bit uneven in the measuring. So again, that was something I was preparing literally 10 minutes before jumping on the stream. Was kind of doing the calculation, maybe roughly, to see how many P's. Like I wanted to do around 15 at least. So I just picked that and just tried to space them out evenly. But looks like I messed up on that. But yeah, here's the fun P we created, and let's show some of the metallic fun. So here you can see how it kind of reflects. It looks like the orange one. I'm going to flip it so you can see the orange one a little bit more. But yeah, see how they're very metallic and colorful? So much fun. I could literally do this stuff all day. which is closer to what we'll be doing in the boot camp, as it'll be. I'm going to switch back here as we're getting close to the end of time. Not to the end of all time, but just the end of time for the live stream. Don't mean to get anybody worried. But yeah, here it is. Here's the cool little design that we came up with today. All right, we'll scooch this camera out of the way. So yeah, if you want to learn how to do these and like work through the entire alphabet and learn how I construct all the letters and get step-by-step instructions, it's very thorough. I'll be going through that in the Blackletter Bootcamp, and I can't wait to have everybody there. It would be amazing. Let me catch up on the comments too. Make sure there's no other questions that I can catch really quickly. Mary Ellen is saying, I've learned patience while trying new lettering and watercolor projects. It shows in you as in your work as well. Thank you. That's extremely kind, Mary. Thank you so much. Adrian saying jiggery. I think we're going to have some fun in the boot camp, Adrian. Jiggery, technical term, yes. Kathy saying, what's a Zentangle? Oh, there's probably someone in the comments that's a better expert of that, but I think those are like those very intricate, detailed line drawings. If there was more time, maybe I'll show it in a future stream. I think I've done Zentangle-esque, to invent a new word, art using my iPad and the symmetry tool. So that can be a fun thing to look at. See, Jennifer saying, can you review the Ecoline watercolor and how you diluted it? I actually didn't dilute it at all. It's just the regular Ecoline ink, the yellow one. So hopefully that helps there. Is calculator tool, that might be a good one for a future stream. It's basically a tool that I came up with that I've been developing over the last few years that helps me figure out how to fit the circles or quotes inside of the circles. And thank you again, Mary. Thank you, Jennifer. Thank you, Dances with Aardvarks. Always fantastic to have you here too. Jennifer saying just bought them on Amazon. Maybe the Ecoline inks. That's possible. And if you have any if you need any tips on the tools, you can head to blacklettertools.com. That does have some affiliate links that help me out a little bit, but I've got links to a bunch of my favorite tools and things that I use. The Ecoline links are definitely on there. So that's blacklettertools.com, and that'll give you my favorite supply list. And then, yeah, again, Blackletter Bootcamp kicks off in 2 weeks. So I'm super excited. Again, it's only 20 people will be. I'm only opening enrollment for 20 people because I do want to make sure I give as much individual attention as possible. Right now, this weekend, if you sign up, there are 2 free products that are some of my most popular products that you can get during the super early bird sign up period, because early bird will be after that, but there's only basically 1 day left in super early bird. But head over to blackletterbootcamp.com for all the info. Thank you so much again for joining me today and for having some calligraphy fun with me as we created this fun P project or letter P project. And I'd love to see if you guys create your own projects and see what you create always. So thank you again. I guess last, probably good to mention, as Johan's asking, what day is the camp or days? It starts first weekend in March, which I believe the first Saturday is March 5th. It'll be 2.5 hours each day. It'll be 4 weekends, skipping one of the last weekends. So March 5th, 12th, 19th, and then April the 2nd. And you can find out all the info again, blackletterbootcamp.com. So those are the days of the camp. It'll be 11 to 1:30 p.m., 2.5 hours each day, live with me. And so you'll get to ask any questions, anything like that. So I've already gone 4 minutes over my time. But thank you again so much for joining me this week. I had a ton of fun. I do these live streams usually roughly every week or so. But again, I had a wonderful time. Thank you all so much for joining me. Check out Blackletter Bootcamp. If you want the free stuff, blackletterfreebies.com. And feel free to reach out to me anytime with questions. You can always find me online or on my website through the contact form. In the meantime, I hope you all have a fantastic weekend, and I will see you next time. Take care and have a great day, everybody. Bye-bye.